sector is clear.
Give us everything we got! All wings.
There was once a time where the Star Wars games ran the shops. Battlefront 2, Knights of the Old Republic, The Force Unleashed, Republic Commando, Jedi Outcast, Jedi Academy, Battlefront, so much. EA used to be one of us. He was seduced by the dark side of the Force. They made a Battlefront 2 reboot, executing Order 66, and just when we thought they'd had them beat, they turned their back on us again. Their new apprentice, Darth Dice, had been taken. We won't be fooled again. Yeah! That was terrible. Well, here we go. Star Wars Battlefront 2, the game that many consider to be the worst game of the year. I did not like the reboot from 2015 to the Battlefront series, and I wanted to like this game, but I don't. I really wanted to like this game, but I don't. First, let me go over my history with the Star Wars games. I love the Knights of the Knights of the Old Republic games. And I think that the first one rivals Mass Effect 2 as the best RPG ever. Big fan of the Jedi Knight series, Republic Commando, both of the original Battlefront games, with Pandemic's Battlefront 2 being my favorite Star Wars game of all time. Lego Star Wars is fun, The Force Unleashed, The Old Republic, and others. However, for every Knights of the Old Republic, there's a Force Unleashed 2. It was sad to discover that Battlefront 3 was never coming. Our dreams had died, but then it was announced that EA, a company I trusted at the time, and DICE, the developers of the Battlefield series, would be making Battlefront 2. And, well, would be making this new Battlefront game. And then the game came out, and half the features, well, 3/4 actually, of features from previous games were gone, and EA gave us a quarter of the full game. While it was up to the rest of it was hidden behind a $50 season pass. Even with the season pass, not everything was in it. It was announced that EA and DICE would be making a Battlefront 2. At first, we were against the idea, but then we heard there would be no season pass, free DLC, single-player campaign, the prequel era plus the new era, class setups, space battles, and so much more. The beta was actually fun. However, shortly after the beta, Emperor EA and Darth Dice seduced Battlefront 2 to the dark side of the Force, giving the game RNG loot boxes, and having Reddit users discover it would take 40 hours of pure gameplay just to unlock Luke or Darth Vader. Fans were furious. Then the game came out, but a day before its release, DICE announced that they were temporarily removing microtransactions. We all know they're gonna wait and add them back in at some point when they feel like the time is right. But let's get into why the game is so bad right now. I'm not gonna go over the whole Reddit loot box fiasco. I've done that time and time again, and I'm not doing it over again. So let me start off with the campaign. It's better than nothing, but not by a whole lot. You play as Iden Versio. In between the time of Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens. Even better, you play from the perspective of the Empire. It starts with Iden escaping some rebel ship and then taking her helmet off multiple times and putting it back on multiple times and then escaping. I will say this, graphically the game looks terrific, but graphics aren't everything. You do some stuff for the Empire, and then you see they're killing the people of your home planet, and then you join the New Republic. Wait, what? So much for telling the story of the Empire. At least The Force Unleashed had a story behind the change of heart, and so did Return of the Jedi. Here, it's just a simple drop of sorrow for the people of your own planet. That's like me saying I'm moving from Illinois to Iowa. Only shortly after a while, I see the people of Iowa attacking people of Illinois, then move back to Illinois because of that simple reason. So much for going through Iowa. Then she wants to save her dad, but then doesn't. Then does. He dies anyway. Then starts a romance on Jakku that would make Attack of the Clones proud, and then ends with some Kylo Ren cinematic that makes it look like there's a theory going around that Iden Versio is Rey's mother. But the campaign is better than nothing, but not by much. It's especially disappointing because we live in a generation full of amazing gaming technology, and we know how a next-gen Star Wars campaign could be. Take KOTOR, for example. And look at how good that game's story was. And here we are, and that game, KOTOR, is almost 15 years old. Come on, guys, we can do better than this little game with little to no character development. That when something happens to these characters, you don't feel a damn thing. You don't sympathize nor feel for these characters. In the end, it's a pretty bad campaign. Now into the multiplayer. Oh, I'm already mad. I'm already pissed. EA and DICE brought back everything. Classes, prequel, New Republic era, space battles, pretty much everything that was gone from the 2015 Battlefront. And they managed to screw everything up, too. So let me go over the basic things. There are 5 game modes. 5. And, Galactic Assault, which is like a war in Call of Duty World War II. Starfighter Assault, which is space battles. Strike, which is an objective-based game mode. Heroes vs. Villains from the original Battlefront 2, which is pretty self-explanatory. And Blast, which is like a 20-player TDM, which I actually find a bit fun whenever I play Battlefront 2. The classes are fine, but I do wish they could have made a bit more than just 4 of them, and plus make a bit more diversity to it. And heroes are difficult because many of them need to be unlocked, like Luke and Darth Vader and Emperor Palpatine, but others like Rey, Darth Maul, Kylo Ren, and Yoda sit right there waiting for you, and you don't have to unlock them. However, I feel like there should be more. The game only has 2 heroes from the prequel era, those being Yoda and Darth Maul. And with the recent addition of Finn and Captain Phasma, we also know Obi-Wan is getting added, but no idea when. We want more heroes. General Grievous, Mace Windu, Count Dooku, Jango Fett, Qui-Gon, Poe Dameron, the list goes on. For space battles, I guess this is acceptable for now, but if they don't have this by Battlefront 3, I'm probably going to be mad. There aren't nearly as many options as the original Battlefront 2. You just spawn in a ship right away. No spawning in the hangar. No boarding enemy hangars and stealing enemy ships. So riddle me this. How does a game from 2005 end up having so much more diversity than a game from 2017? Maps, you got all the classic maps like Hoth, Naboo, Kamino, Mos Eisley, and even maps from The Last Jedi, which came out after this game, like Crate. However, still the missing biggest parts like Geonosis, Megiddo, Felucia, Mustafar, Tanith 4, the list goes on. As a diehard Star Wars fan, I was mad when I discovered this game still didn't have enough for me, and I wasn't gonna like it. And the lack of maps was something I really think needs to be fixed. The graphics are great, but I think the gameplay needs to be improved and doesn't match the feel of the original Battlefront 2. The graphics aren't everything. And while gameplay isn't either, it's awfully close. Next is the arcade. Only 2 arcade modes? 2? Okay, I'm done. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to electrocute that like button, and I will see you guys next time.